recognize the gentleman from New York, Representative Swazi, to provide more details about this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first want to thank you for moving this along so quickly. As Ranking Member Brady mentioned, we have moved this along very quickly, but we're facing a health crisis in the country. And it's something that parents in every one of our districts are coming to us about their children and the vaping epidemic that we're facing in every hallway of every school, of every spot that young people are hanging around in. Let's start by the basic concept. Vaping is bad. It's killing people. It's putting them in the hospital. And worst of all, a whole generation of our children are getting addicted to nicotine. Mothers and fathers are literally freaking out about their children. Kids know smoking is bad, but many think vaping is okay. They're wrong. Today, we're extending cigarette taxes to the nicotine in vaping products. Experts, including the World Health Organization and the American Heart Association, agree that one of the best ways we can stop people from using vaping products is by taxing them. For young people especially who have less money and therefore higher price elasticity, taxes on vaping products are an effective way to decrease usage. This bill will not solve the whole vaping epidemic, but it's an essential start. I know that some people will raise their voices against this effort. We've heard it all before when we fought to raise taxes on cigarettes. Some will say the science is not yet conclusive. Others will advocate for free choice or say we're moving too fast or say this is typical taxing big government. Some might argue that we should tax e-liquid pods instead of nicotine itself, though such short-sighted action would simply drive people to making their own e-liquids. I'm sure others will think of even more creative arguments. But when all is said and done, it will be elected officials and lobbyists and manufacturers representing big tobacco and nicotine producers who put their lucrative nicotine interests ahead of our children's health, ahead of the cost to our health system, ahead of proven public policy. Vaping is bad. This will decrease it. In my home state of New York, we've seen that our higher cigarette taxes have led to some of the lowest rates of smoking and smoking-related illnesses. I'm so grateful to my New York colleague, Congressman Peter King, for co-sponsoring this bipartisan Protecting American Lungs Act, which will establish much-needed tax parity between vaping products and cigarettes. This bill will tax the absorption of nicotine, a harmful and addictive product, at the same rate whether you get it from a vaping product or from cigarettes. Importantly, this bill includes an exception for FDA-approved nicotine replacement therapies, which means that if a vaping company can prove that their product is a legitimate smoking cessation device, the nicotine will not be taxed. The Joint Committee on Taxation estimates that this bill will generate almost $10 billion, which will be used to fund a number of bipartisan health priorities. One, it will make it easier for people with high-deductible health plans to get inhalers for chronic conditions like asthma. Two, it will make it easier for people with health savings accounts and flexible spending accounts to purchase the over-the-counter medications. Three, it will make it easier for women with health savings plans to access menstrual care products. Four, it will make it easier for people with high-deductible health plans to participate in direct primary care arrangements. 3 months ago, mothers from Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes came to me and told me the stories of high school hallways and bathrooms filled with students vaping. Speaking to my own 16-year-old, I've learned just how prevalent a problem this is for youth in my community, and I've heard the same thing from colleagues from throughout the Congress. We need to act now to stop this crisis, and the bipartisan Protecting American Lungs Act is a crucial step. I want to thank you again, Chairman Neal, and the committee for holding this markup and for prioritizing our committee's response to this public health crisis. By moving quickly, this committee can stem the growth of this crisis. I look forward to the discussion, and I yield back.
Thank you, Mr. Swazi. Now